Hey there, Cheesemeisters, and welcome back to the Peach Pod. That would have been Sleeping Satellite by Tasman Archer. That's one of the songs that David is playing on his little boombox too loud in the beach apartment while he's trying to plan the radio show that Donna clearly doesn't want any part of anymore. I am Jeff, and am I selfish? Are you selfish? Or who's selfish? I'm selfish. Am I selfish? And joining me on the other end of the internet, my cuz-host.
I'm Leslie, and I'm studying pre-law, pre-med, and premenstrual.
Can't tell which. Yep. God bless Brenda. Brenda looking good in this episode, by the way. Whoo!
Even Walter, took a moment, did a double thing and went, "Oh my god!" And I went, "I know. She's always been hot, but now it's like, oh, hello."
Mm-hmm. No, this is the sweet spot. Nah, I can still see your face. I can't get my glasses to do that. Like, they're too tight; they don't wiggle. So,
well, see, that's why you keep them loose and risk losing them for the comedic effect.
I appreciate that. Anything you can do for a bit, I think you should do. But I do like that my glasses don't fall off my head. I don't know. Here we are. This week, Cheesemeisters, we are talking about Season 4, Episode 4, Radio Daze. Original, and Daze spelled D-A-Z-E in a clever way. I know. Original air date, October 6, 1993. Did you throw up in your mouth or throw something this episode?
Oh, yes, I did. Every time John Sears opened his damn mouth.
Oh, he's pretty gross.
Oh, my God. I hate him so much.
I'm glad that you got there fast. I mean, they're not... They don't...
You knew I would.
Well, I do, but it's also like they're not trying to make him not skeevy, I think. All right, we'll have to get into it. So, so here's what happens in this episode, Cheesemeisters. It's the first day of school, finally. That's interesting to me, by the way, because this is episode 5, by the way, season 4, episode 5, not episode 4. This is just like the summer episodes.
Yeah.
Like 5 or 6 episodes before school starts. It's just this time they didn't start them in July. But it's the same. You still get the same run up before classes begin. You get 4 episodes of, whatever, stealing toasters and pepper spray on the beach, before you get people showing up at school and going to class for a day. But it's first day of class, and Donna is exhausted. Kelly is suddenly very excited to be in school.
Noted that too.
Yeah, she's like, it's the first day of school. I'm so fucking pumped. Did a little dance in Donna's bedroom. I'm sorry, there's a little dust mote flying in the air.
Oh.
I know.
Welcome to the show.
Shut up. I don't have to dust my desk. Leave me alone. It's very clean. I'm like Donna. I have to clean up for my gross roommates. And Donna's exhausted because she got home at like 6:15 in the morning, and it's probably, I don't know, 9:30, 10. I don't know what time her first class is. But she can't get David out of bed. He wants to be left alone. He's exhausted. The radio show's killing him.
Room.
Yep. His bed that's on the ground.
Oh my God. I mean, it was peak. Boy just moved out of the house, doesn't give a shit about, I don't know. He was making a bunker,
Yeah. He blacked out the windows with big old scarves that Steven Tyler would put on his microphone stand in an Aerosmith concert.
Oh, nice.
It's very 90s. Everybody I knew who had their dorm like that was stoned all of the time.
I would love it if David was stoned. He could use some THC.
There you go. Yeah, but it's a very stoner vibe he's got going on in his bedroom. But he's like, leave me alone. I'm a big boy. I'll get to school on my own. Whatever. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Lives large in his legend right now.
Oh, God.
Very sleepy. But they go to school, and Dylan and Brenda have a poetry class together. Their professor is very much about the rhythms of life.
Yeah.
The very slow, deliberate rhythms of life.
Fuck, I am a pentameter.
I was boring AF. And I don't know, Steve and Brandon were walking through the quad, and did they have a class together? I don't even remember. Who else had class? Oh, Andrea and
Donna.
Donna had class. Yeah, Andrea and Donna have class, and Dan Rubin, RA to the stars, perpetual grad student, is now the TA in Andrea's class, which is not the same as being her professor. It isn't,
No,
but it's a thing.
it's still a power dynamic.
It is. But he gives them an assignment to like write their life story in 10 sentences or something. And on about your business. And Steve is a fucking horn dog. He's ready to break up with Celeste because there's like,
He's an idiot.
There's a pool party, and the pool is filled with water, but the pool that Steve wants to drown in is filled with poon. Like, he is just ready. He's ready to try to come up for air and be totally unable. So he's ready to break up with Celeste, which is foolish. Brandon tells them this is foolish. But Brandon, here's my read on that Brandon-Steve conversation, where Steve's like, I think I'm going to break up with Celeste. And Brandon's like, why? Because she's hot and you guys are great together. And Steve
puts up with you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, she deals with your bullshit. And Steve lays out his position, which is, have you seen the ass?
And none of them compare to Celeste.
Understood. And I don't disagree. But the point I want to make is that Brandon immediately goes, okay, well, does she see this coming? Like, try to be gentle. Like Brandon gives him his like immediate reaction, which is you're being a moron. But then Brandon shifts into supportive friend mode, which is like, if you're going to do this ridiculous thing, maybe I can help guide you just a little bit. Yeah. Which I thought was kind of a nice little moment between the two of them. And then Steve tries to break up with Celeste, but instead they have sex because she offered. And there was
what are you gonna do?
Yeah, you're gonna say no. What if no one ever offers again?
Right, which with Steve is a definite possibility, and I think deep down he knows that.
I mean, look, Leslie Sumner Schulman, she was hot to trot on some Steve Sanders this episode. But then as soon as he walked away, she was like, "Let me dance with Brandon." Leslie just wants to get it done. Which seems to be a consistent character trait for people named Leslie, I suppose.
Wow.
What? I was talking about Leslie Odom Jr. I don't know what you were talking
about. Or Leslie Knope.
Yeah, they like Leslie Knope loves to fuck.
Yes, she does.
She is grabbing Ben Wyatt's ass left and right. It's
historical role play.
Yep, all of it.
Please tell me you hung up before Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I did not. Oh God.
Yeah. So Steve doesn't break up with Celeste. Instead, she invites herself to the pool party because Brenda's looking for a job. Fine-a-fucking-ly. She's out there beating the pavement, trying to get a job at Maxwell's, which I guess is a store that Celeste works at. They fold clothes and so forth. This belt would go good with this ensemble. But Brenda's not having any luck. She's frustrated. Can't get a job. And she won't go to the one place that literally everyone can get hired, which is to be Laverne. Thank God Brandon brought it up. But Brenda's suddenly too good to be Laverne. Everyone's too good to work for Nat now.
I also don't want to be a singing waitress, but you go where all she has to do is tell Nat, I don't want to sing. Don't make me sing. Don't make me sing.
Yeah, she could draw that line, but she won't because at heart she's a performer. Acting.
I get it. Take the work where you can find it, honey.
That's right. Yeah, and so she's out there doing that shit. But while she's applying for the job at Celeste, she mentions, "Hey, there's a freshman pool party tomorrow. Don't worry, the word freshman doesn't fucking matter.
Nope.
This is just a pool party, but we're gonna keep calling it a freshman pool party, even though everyone who comes is talking to someone who's not a freshman." But
Yep.
I think that's something for later. Um, and so Celeste invites herself to the pool party where she shows up and Steve is flirting with Leslie Sumner Schulman.
Face in her boob.
I mean, I salute you, Steve Sanders. And Kelly wants Dylan to come to this, but there's an author visit on campus that he's super stoked about. Kerouac's biographer is going to be there.
I know.
It's a little exhausting.
A little.
Dylan's pretentiousness is on display, full force.
Yeah.
And John Sears is steady lurking. He follows Kelly home, which is creepy.
It is.
It's very creepy, and tells her that he doesn't give up easy, which means he's just gonna. We're not getting rid of this fucker.
Which means I don't take no for an answer.
That's what it means.
Which she probably already knew that.
I mean, she said it a few times, but she doesn't mean it, obviously, because she's still smooching.
Because she's listening to her body and not her mind or her heart.
Like Steve.
Sometimes those things don't have the same messages. Sometimes they do. Oh my God.
Steve's just listening to Mr. Green Jeans. Everybody listening to their tingly naughty bits. Yeah. So, yeah, engorged and throbbing. That's what's happening for all of our friends. So this pool party happens, and Brenda shows up to the pool party after accepting a job from her father.
I'm not shaking my head at that. I'm shaking my head at the fact that she had one thing to do and she went, "Oh, I've got to stop by this party real quick." No, bitch, you go drop off the file.
Yeah, you really do. I
know traffic is terrible, but that party will still be going and everyone knows you're lame if you show up early and on time.
That's right. Yeah, that's all right. What?
Okay. That's when I threw things.
I get it. Okay, so here's one of the things this episode might really be about. We pretty much got through it. This is what happened in this episode. Brenda doesn't drop this file off. Celeste and Steve get in more fights. He apologizes. They make up. Jim tells Steve to just admit he's a horse's ass, which Jeff's kiss, Jim, no notes. Doing it over ice cream, we also approve of. But one of the things this episode is really about is Brenda should just never have a job. Like, I mean, it's taken us 4 seasons to get to the point where she looked for a job, but this is her second job, right? Like, she worked at the ritzy place on Rodeo over Christmas that one time for that horrible, nasty lady that Cindy just came and just dog walked. And now this. 2 jobs in 4 years. Both have been disasters. She's bad at job. She is bad at looking for job. Stay out.
She wants things her way. Or no way.
Yeah. And I mean, look, your fundamental complaint, Brenda, that you should get paid to search for a job. I agree. Like, let's do that.
Listen,
let's look for jobs. Like, it is work.
Yeah. No, she had some great insights about looking for work because, you absolutely should. Actors have been trying to make this a thing with all the auditions. We audition more than we work, most of us.
Well, and look, as someone who has been paid $0 to finish 3 books and halfway through a 4th, it would be great to get paid to do that work before you're finished with it. Yep. That'd be awesome. I'm with you, Brenda.
No one's asking you to do that, Jeff.
I know they're not. They should be though, because I got good ideas. Everybody should ask me to do that. I'm talented, motherfuckers. But Brenda, here's what's ridiculous about Brenda's job search and her like, woe is me, the job market. Like, admittedly, the economy in 1993 wasn't humming along. It was improving. It was getting better. But there had been quite the recession, like job market was pretty poor. It's, why Clinton was elected to begin with. And so like there was a feeling amongst people my age that when we graduate, maybe there aren't going to be too many jobs for us. Yeah, but that's not something that you necessarily feel the first day of freshman year.
No.
You're not thinking about that yet. Like, I wasn't thinking about, I mean, I was dumb. But I wasn't thinking about that until probably about 2 months after I graduated college. I just
I'll
wasn't.
say this. It definitely, I have distinct memories of seeing this recession hit like 2008, going into college and thinking, well, that could lead to some problems for me. But thankfully, that's all I had to think about then. I was like, that one time, and then I was able to push it in the back of my mind.
Yeah, it didn't drive your desire to suddenly, for the first time in your life, get a job.
No, because I'd already had summer jobs.
Of course, because you're not Brenda.
Yep.
But Brenda takes this job for Jim, and she's like, "Don't worry, I'm gonna fucking rock it. No one's gonna be like boss's daughter." She's like, "I'm not gonna ever make any mistakes after this first one."
Yep.
But I got to do this one real dumb thing, and somehow this doesn't get her fired. Largely because Brandon and Steve are like, remember how you just told Steve that he might get a second chance if he admits he's a horse's ass? Well, Brenda just admitted she was a horse's ass. Not in so many words, but I think you got to give her a pass on this one, Big Jimbo. And and Jim does something that I never thought was possible. He gets 2 hugs from Brenda in one episode.
I know.
And all he had to do was give her the same job twice.
Yep.
So every time you give Brenda a job, she gives you a hug. That's nice. Just taking care. So yeah, she goes to this pool party, doesn't drop off the literally only thing he told her that needed to be done. And he gave her a ridiculously long amount of time to do it, even in LA traffic. Like, it must have been 3 p.m. when he gave her this envelope, and she has 6 hours to get it there.
Like, do it now, honey. Do it now.
Knock it off your list. Just boom, done. And you don't have to worry about it. Now, granted, she didn't worry about it. Like, she didn't have to worry about it anyway because she didn't worry about it. But it would have been nice if she had done her job. Because to be honest, I don't know what that gets you plot-wise.
Yeah.
Like, from a story arc perspective, I guess we'll have to pay attention to whatever happens to Brenda, because I don't remember. Like, I know what goes on this season, but I don't remember like what happens next, specifically for Brenda. But I don't remember her working for Jim more than this.
It just feels like
maybe she does. Okay, never mind. I just figured it out. I know why she has to have a job with Jim. Sorry,
she was meet a guy at the office.
Kinda.
Yeah. I also figure, again, she seems isolated from the group somewhat.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if, like, hey, Jimothy, you can still put up with Shannon, right? Okay, we're gonna write more scenes for you two. Yeah. Which, again, I'm projecting. I have no idea. I've never read any of the background stuff, and I really don't want to, because what's the point of it now? Mm-hmm. It's going to be sad, and none of us know what really happened either way.
I did hear there was Brian came on Shannon's podcast. And one of the things they talked about was this episode, because of the two of them getting to dance together.
Yeah.
And apparently, like, they were really good friends, like, and have been since, like, her whole life. They were really good friends. They stayed relatively close the whole time. And I think her general thing was, remember how much fun we had dancing together, and that they finally put us in a scene together. Like, it took 4 years. Like,
Yeah.
like we were such good friends and we never got to work together, and we finally did on this episode, and it was so much fun.
Yeah.
So
I loved that. And there were a few other different pairings. Like, we haven't seen Donna and Andrea together as much. Brenda and Celeste hugged, and I was like, when did this develop? I'm okay with
right.
it, but when? So, it's fun to see them playing more with unique pairings. Because, yeah, I did love seeing Brenda and David together. I'm like, these two are friends. We need to see more of just friends, like, and not without the worry of whether or not they're going to get together. Like, they're definitely not going to get together. There is just no sexual chemistry there.
No, but watching them do a little bump and grind.
Okay, as I was watching it the second time, I went, she's been studying Dirty Dancing, and I can appreciate that.
I think she was studying the lambada, the dance that is forbidden.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you not know the forbidden dance? The
I have
lambada.
forgotten.
Oh, I never saw that movie because it was forbidden.
What movie is it?
Lambada.
Oh, it is called... Then no, I haven't.
Yeah, no, there was a whole this dance. It's called the forbidden dance.
I mean, Blue Swing is pretty like what they're much slower what they were doing basically.
Yeah. Here's what I wonder about that whole scene. What kind of shit's Donna into? Because she stood off to the side and was real happy to watch that bump and grind.
I thought so too. I thought the same thing. It was like she's pretty calm about just watching them. Oh, this is how my friend is helping my boyfriend.
She just wanted David to feel better. And I never noticed how like happy she was to watch this before, but like now this is not where their sexual adventures go.
I know.
But now having seen it, boy, I wish it was. How interesting would that be?
Yeah, if she was like, you know what? I still stand by the fact that I want to remain a virgin.
Right.
But you don't have to.
And I want to watch. Yeah, this show could have got funky.
Excuse me for a minute. Let me just clean my glasses.
Yeah, because I need to see that. Yeah, I thought that was pretty fun watching Donna be like, yeah, dog.
Get
it. So yeah, there was a dance contest, everybody, and
oh Brenda, yes.
Yeah, they didn't stand up and do the like where you switch the knees and the hands back and forth.
No, they did not. No one opened the pool. The pool was already open. That part was stupid. I hate that kind of stuff. Well, I don't hate it, obviously. I love it and It's a Wonderful Life. But those people willingly jumped in. This one, people got pushed in, and that shit makes me so nervous.
Yeah.
It is dangerous.
Did you further know that this key opens the floor over the pool?
George Bailey's standing right over it.
Get it, Alfalfa.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they fall in the pool. And Celeste shows up at this party. We talked about it a little bit, and Steve got all like sorry about it. But what we had been talking about was Brenda never having a job again, and I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And I mentioned this before, speaking of the pool party, because I just want to live in this pool party.
Sure.
I think one of the things this episode is really about is don't come to the freshman pool party unless you're a freshman. Because that's all the problems.
Yeah.
Like, all the problems are Leslie being there, trying to straight grind up on Steve.
Why John do you want a freshman anyway?
I don't know. I mean, I don't get it.
They're babies.
I know. But they're impressionable. So if you're a predator like John Sears, it's exactly what you want. And John Sears is at the freshman pool party because of fucking course he is.
Because he doesn't listen to no.
No, he doesn't. And Celeste is at the pool party, even though she didn't go to school there. She's a JC dropout, apparently.
Yeah, clocked that. I went, oh, dropped out. Interesting.
Yep. So, yeah.
Yeah, one of the things I think this episode is about is there's a difference between setting boundaries and actually being selfish.
Yes. What is selfish?
I'll tell you what's selfish. Brenda wants things her way or no way.
Mm-hmm.
Selfish. Radio guy doesn't ask or listen to Donna at all. He just sees someone in his chair who can gab and isn't even listening to her. It just puts her in the slot. Get on the radio. You can do this on your own. I haven't seen if you can do this on your own or not. I brought you in because of your boyfriend. Kelly clearly needs all the love and attention, and I understand it.
Yeah.
But she is making some really... Okay, I started noticing, I think her and Steve have a self-destructive streak building within them, and I'm more nervous for Kelly, because with Steve, they're just going to play it for laughs, but for Kelly, it's going to be all trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are the selfish people. The people who were setting boundaries and not being selfish. Dylan wanting to do his own shit. Totally fine.
Yep.
Donna looking out for herself. Like, because she knows that she can't keep up this schedule on top of having a learning disability.
Yeah.
She doesn't want it that much. So, yeah, those were my... Unfortunately, the selfish people outweigh the ones setting good boundaries.
But the ones setting boundaries were the ones who were called selfish.
Yeah.
You know, which was just incorrect.
I mean, that's usually how it goes. People don't like you doing things your own way or doing things that are best for you. People don't like that.
There's a difference between doing something that's best for you and doing something for your own enjoyment at the expense of others. Like, that's not the same thing. And Dylan is not doing things at the expense of Kelly. He's trying to have his own existence. Yes. You know? He's like, I'd rather do this than that.
Yeah, and Kelly's... I wrote down for this episode, what does Kelly want? Because she wanted Dylan, she got him, and now, because he's not being a typical guy and being with her all the time, making his whole life about her, she is taking that very personally and doing to him what she fears he's going to do to her. She's like, you can't cheat on me, but I can.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
it made me so sad. I was like, you're smarter than this. But as someone who has also made reckless and stupid choices like we all do, like, I get it. I see it.
Yeah. And she wants to be pursued.
Yeah.
You know? And Dylan is not pursuing her. Dylan is in a relationship with her where that he's trying to have a grown-up relationship with her where you don't have to spend every single second with somebody. You don't have to only do things together. It's really healthy to have your own interests.
Yeah.
You know, and to not require your partner to share your interests. You know, you can want them to. You can say, hey, will you do this with me? Maybe you'll also like it. But, like, when you've been married for, what year is it? Almost 19 years, and you can't talk your spouse into liking Indiana basketball, you just stop. Like, it's just enjoy it yourself. It's fine.
So,
you're never going to get there.
So it's going to be, let's see, I have another, like, 13 years before Walter stops trying to teach me magic.
I don't know that, I mean...
No, playing magic, not that.
Oh, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know when he's going to stop, but 6 years is probably not long enough.
I know.
He's going to keep playing for a while.
Luckily, he didn't hear your side. He only heard mine.
Oh. Jeff, I'll teach you to play too if you want.
Oh my god.
Let me tell you what. You can tell Walter this. Those kind of card-based games are 100% not my jam. Like, I find them too complicated.
Not his jam. Jeff finds them too complicated. I'm definitely not going to get it.
I'll teach Liam how to play that, and then you'll be sorry when your wallet's empty.
You know what? I have a child who likes Lego. There's no emptying my... The only thing more expensive as a hobby than Lego is dressage.
What the fuck?
That's that horse dancing shit that rich people's kids do in the Olympics. Go look up dressage.
Oh god. No, I'm good. I don't...
It's literally... I think it goes dressage, ice hockey, and Lego. Those are the 3 most expensive things your child could get involved in.
Shout outs to my niblets.
It's some shit, man. So yeah, I'm not. Your Magic the Gathering don't scare me, son. I got Lego in this house. That's all there is to it. But it also does. Those games are just not my thing. Because I find, like, we did a thing when, like, Liam got into Pokemon, and he was like 5. He was little, and he wanted to play the game, like the cards, according to the directions. It took me 45 minutes to read the instructions for how you were supposed to set up the game and make the first play.
Oh my god!
And the print on those cards it's so small. It was really hard and like my eyeballs weren't even as old as they are now. And I was like, I can't with these things. And by the time I got to the end of the instructions, he was bored and wanted to do something else.
Of course.
Yeah. So I was like, I can't with this stuff. And I know people love those things. And I don't know. It ain't me, babe.
You know what isn't a complicated game? Playing with your American Girl doll.
Look, I'll say this in defense of all of Walter's Magic characters. None of them were involved in the triangle shirt fire. Like, they weren't involved.
Samantha wasn't there!
The backstory involved in your American Girl doll is fascinating to me. And
that's not even the craziest one.
Oh, I'm certain of it. But it's... Magic the Gathering doesn't hold a candle to having 7 books about one made up little girl doll. You know what? I love her, and I do love that that I sent you the picture that I saw the other day. Cheesemeisters. Sometimes I forget we're talking about 90210, but a couple years ago, I think it was like right after we started the podcast.
Yes.
We went home for Easter, and we were going to your mom's house for Easter. And you were like, stay out of my room. Don't touch my American Girl doll or whatever. So we very much intentionally went into your room and had Liam pretend to touch the American Girl doll right in the face. And we took a picture and sent it to you. And that came up on my phone like 2 days ago, and it made me very happy.
Samantha didn't deserve that.
Yes, she did. After a long life of hardship, she deserves to meet a boy like Liam.
Oh my god. I've told you. I mean, he's still better than Eddie Ryland, but all the same, she's probably traumatized about little boys. He's not a little boy. He's tall boy.
He was then. He's not as little now. But...
You mean I couldn't pick him up?
He could pick you up.
Oh my god. That's horrifying.
He's considerably taller than you are. Like he's pushing 5'11" right now.
Oh man, he's taller than me and Walter.
Yeah. We saw all of the Kelly boys. He's taller than all of them, and they're like in college now.
That's so unsettling.
Yep. Shouts to the Kelly boys. Shouts to Kieran in Legally Blonde at Loyola. That was fun. Good job, Kieran. All right. Yeah. So Yeah, but I think selfishness was a big theme in this episode. They talked about it a lot, and it just kept coming back to it. But the people they were calling selfish were not selfish. They were just trying to enjoy their lives. And that's and the flip side of that is the other thing that I think this episode was really about was people expecting people to be who they aren't. Like Kelly continuing to want Dylan to be a different person. Like, I think Kelly would be thrilled if Dylan was more like John Sears. Not in like the not in the creeper way, not in like the follow you home way, but in the involvement in school activities way.
Oh yeah.
She
asked him last week, why aren't you more normal?
Yeah. She wants someone who's much more of a joiner. And Dylan has never been that. He's always been mad, bad, and dangerous to know. Don't you remember?
He was so unbothered this episode. He would just smolder and things happened. It was incredible. I wish I had that power.
Yeah. Dylan was just being his authentic self this episode, and Kelly didn't want any of it.
When he just stared down John Sears, I was thinking, Dylan, I could take you. That man has big arms.
He's much larger than you are. I do like, in John Sears' defense.
Oh God.
I know. Dylan is a real out of nowhere kind of asshole to him.
Like, yeah, the possessive boyfriend thing I didn't like, but again, Kelly seems to like that.
Right, but it's the possessive boyfriend thing, and then also like John Sears. Now, again, he's actively hitting on this guy's girlfriend, so he's not on like a high moral ground here. But when like he is just kind of trying to have small talk with Dylan, like, oh hey, what frat house are you gonna join? And Dylan is like, crack house. Like, gets up in his and John's like, okay, nice to meet you. like that's the right reaction to someone who is just like confrontational to small talk. And so I'm like, you know what, Dylan, you're kind of a weirdo. Like, why do like you don't have to be like aggro at strangers. Now you're right to here because this guy is clearly creeping on your girlfriend. But it is like Dylan's response to the text of what frat house are you going to join is very out of proportion to the text. Now, in comparison to the subtext, Dylan's reaction is correct. Like, this dude just followed my girlfriend home and gave her flowers and like won't stop hitting on her. But he doesn't know that. You know?
He heard all the way on the other side of the pool John Sears say, wow, you really know how to handle a hot dog. And he lost
home. Yeah. Little does John Sears know. Although I guess he probably does know. Wasn't that part of their backstory that they had Vodio Dode?
But he amplified things. So who knows how much they did or didn't do, but he definitely like you know what he did? I just realized same thing as craft.
Well, yes, but no. What I was thinking of was that John Sears did the wild thing. Just like when Brandon and Marianne Moore did the wild thing on the radio.
Yep.
That is a pilot callback, you guys, all the way back to the first episode. This is the kind of continuity that the show doesn't believe in. Except for here, they're like, remember when you were Laverne? Or remember Andrea, that you used to always flirt with Gil? And that you had a thing for that drama teacher over the summer? And Andrea's like, yeah, I kind of do like them older fellas.
This is what happens when you're not getting any interest from guys your own age.
Yeah.
And also when guys your own age are teasing you relentlessly.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, I'm gonna seek higher up then.
Mm-hmm. And I let's put a small pin in Andrea liking older men, because we really got to talk about this. But I wanted to finish the thought of people expecting people to be who they aren't.
Yes.
And talk about Steve and Celeste. Because even Brandon tells Celeste, if you're going to get jealous, he's going to drive you crazy. You know who he is.
Yep.
And Brandon is 100% right. And you're not changing Steve, Celeste. So to expect him not to flirt with literally everyone that walks by, you're setting yourself up for hardship here. And if that's not okay with you, get out now.
I wrote down, do you want this relationship or not?
Right. Yeah.
Because someone in each relationship should have asked that this week.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Do you want this relationship with the person you're actually dating? Or would you rather have this relationship with a totally different person? Because that's not who Steve is. And if Celeste is going to try to change him, fool's errand. Like you either need to get okay with this part of his personality, and I'm not saying that you should, but if you can't, this is going to be bad for you. You're not going to have a good time. Okay? If you French fry when you mean to pizza, you're going to have a bad time. That's a South Park reference.
Oh, okay. I was like, that's
and, yeah. Yep. They were talking about learning how to ski. French fries, pizza. French fries, pizza. And if you French fry when you mean to pizza, you're going to have a bad time. And you want to have a good time. You're supposed to be out here skiing. Anyway, either get comfortable with it or move on. And she does neither. And so I'm not saying that whatever happens moving forward is her fault, because it's not. But I'm saying that Brandon's right. This is fundamental to the person you're dating.
Yeah. Sounds like she made her bed and now she has to lie in it.
Yeah. And Kelly and Dylan are having the same deal. Like, if you can't accept that Dylan is never going to come to your pool parties willingly, then go date John Sears. I mean, I think that's a terrible decision too, but for other reasons.
But clearly, you again, I think we're seeing the beginnings of a self-destructive streak. And girl, if you need to learn the hard way, go learn the hard way. Blow up your life.
I mean, that's what college is for, learning things. You know, he's right. It's not all about classes. Sometimes it's about asses.
None of these men want to be in college. None of these men want to be in college. Except Dylan, maybe.
Dylan wants to go to just author talks.
Sure.
We've seen him in one class. That's true. Everybody get a library card. Libraries are fucking awesome, even though
they are.
It's funny that Leslie Knope hates them.
No, it's terrible.
And Tammy is awful. Terrible.
I don't know. I'm leaning into Tammy in the occasional rewatch I do now. I'm like, you know what? I love libraries. Maybe I'm Tammy.
We just watched the Ron and Tammy episode where Ron ends up with like the cornrows and the mustache shaved out in the middle, and Friction. They're at the that's right. They're at the librarian party for her wedding. Jerry.
Yes.
And the kind of librarian jokes that happen at that circle are very much in keeping with the librarians that I know and live with. So just saying.
Awesome.
It makes me happy. Anyway, get a library card, everybody. Because
having fun isn't hard when you've got a library card.
I like the dance moves are good. I like those.
Thank you.
I like the message too, but the dance moves, cherry on top. All right. Back to Andrea and her liking older men. Let me tell you what I was worried about. And I've seen this shit, but just like, here's what I was worried about, because I know Andrea up to this point. Andrea does not take criticism well. Anytime you tell her that she's not done something right, she thinks you're an asshole. Like it's been pretty consistent in her academic career. That's part of the Gil problem, in Gil's defense, is that Andrea is very bad. Yeah, I know. Andrea is very bad at taking criticism. And so I was a little worried that when Dan criticizes the work she turns in, justifiably, because what she turns in is boring as fuck and not interesting and robotic, and it sounds like someone is a freshman trying to write an essay, which is what she's doing, but that doesn't make it good writing. It's boring and bad. And when he tells her this, and in class, and she's got her Andrea face on where she's just fucking pissed at the teacher, that's what I worried about, that he would say, oh, she's like, you think I'm a bad writer? And he's like, no, I don't. But here's where what you turned in wasn't good. And he's right. Like, this is the kind of feedback that a freshman gets when they write something and turn it in.
Yeah.
And this is like, I got an F on, I was basically a straight A student in high school, and I got an F on the first thing I turned in college. And I was, what? And the teacher was like, well, you didn't cite any sources. Like, you just said a bunch of shit, and you might have been right, but I don't know that. And I'm like, oh. So, like, I went back and redid it, and I got an A. It's fine. It's how you learn.
Exactly.
But so this is what's supposed to happen when you're a freshman and you write something. You're supposed to realize how limited your scope and ability is. Mm-hmm. And then you learn and adjust. But I was worried that Andrea was going to be like, listen up, Gil 2.0. I know what my name was on the masthead before you even got here. I know how to run a newspaper. I did an expose on the cafeteria workers scandal or whatever it was. And then I spent all senior year ignoring everything that was happening around me. And as such, we have no newspaper awards to show for it. But Dan is like, do you want to be more than who you were in high school? Because you're in college now. Like, you need to grow. You need to take a step. You need to challenge yourself. And then, and I'm on board. Dan, right on the line. You're nailing it. And then Dan's like, one other thing you should probably learn about yourself is how much you like my cock. Because let's go.
Oh my God.
And it's that where
it's a weird move.
It's weird. I don't love it. Because I think I would have liked every single part of that if he wasn't her TA. And he wasn't going from giving her feedback on her work to asking her out.
Yeah, I get that.
If he had been giving her, like, if she had said, hey, could you read this before I turn it in to my person who is a teacher who is not you? And his response to her was, this is kind of garbage and here's why. Yeah. And she had taken it as like the way I expected her to take it, which would be like, fuck you, Gil. But then like realized, shut up, Gil 2.0, Gil Jr. If then she had realized, oh, there's validity in what he's saying, I do need to challenge myself. And then that turned into him asking her out, but he wasn't her teacher. I'm okay with it. I don't think it feels oogie.
Yeah.
But because it starts over here in professional land and he takes it into personal land, like, doesn't he take a breath between the two sentences? I think it doesn't work as well.
Anytime there is a blurring of lines, I think you have to listen to that part of you that is like, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
Because, and I was thinking just now too, while he is, from what we have seen, worlds better than John Sears, it's still not great how either of them are pursuing these women. Dan's is
Yeah.
just a bit more acceptable because I don't even know, because of how it's being framed to us, probably. John Sears only looks acceptable because he is attractive to someone. But like the things he's saying are clearly weird if you're really paying attention and really listening, which I don't think people in this episode really did. No one's really listening.
Yeah, I agree. John Sears comes off as lecherous. Yeah. And Dan doesn't. Dan comes off as guy who lives in your dorm. You know? Again, because that's who he is. He's, you know, as a previous RA, I think go ahead and date the RA. It's a good idea. They don't have a roommate. It's a bonus.
I was gonna say they have a nicer and bigger room, so
Yep.
Yeah, and I don't get the feeling that Dan is going to be an asshole to Andrea if she says no. He'll probably keep teasing her about, like, hey, we should go out. No, she said no. Okay, well, whatever. I'm an RA. I'm a grad student. I am hot.
Look at this wavy ass hair I got.
I mean, he is cute. He has an adorable smile.
And locks for days. Gotta love that.
He really does.
He really does. He got a full body. There, like Dan, 100% uses mousse.
Yes.
Like there's a lot of body built into that hair. Body by Dan. Yeah. So it does feel like Dan would be good for Andrea, but again, the power dynamics are funky.
I would love it. Yeah, I would love it if somehow they were like, at the end of the semester, let's talk more. Or, like, let's hang out. Like, for now, let's just talk. Let's build a friendship. That's not going to happen. But wouldn't it be nice?
Yep. Anything else that this episode might really have been about?
No, I think those are my main things.
All right. I mean, we definitely talked about here's the one thing we didn't talk about.
Yes.
Ice cream.
Oh, that's not what I thought you were going to say. But yes, we had ice cream. I'm pretty sure we are at 25 to 20 now. So again, ice cream's creeping back up.
All right. And that scene was glorious because Brandon gave Steve correct advice and Jim summed it up super well, where, you know,
Jim wasn't tiptoeing around anyone this week. He told Brenda, sometimes I want to wring your neck, and then he told Steve, you're a horse's ass. Like, Jim is done. He said, oh, you all are adults now? I could talk to you like adults.
Yeah. And Jim's right. Like first, like, the whole thing starts out with Steve saying, I've never felt about anyone like this since Kelly. And Brandon's response, Brandon, 2 correct moments this episode. So, like, maybe Brandon gets, like, the best person of the episode award because he's right twice. He says, then why do you act the way you do? Like, it's funny that he says it like that. Because it's like Michael Scott and Toby or whatever. You know,
why are you the way that you are?
Yeah, why are you the way that you are? Like it. If what you say is true, why do you do literally everything you do? Yeah. So I thought that was hilarious. And then Jim is like, look, Steve, if you just go tell her I was a horse's ass and I'm sorry. She's probably going to be okay as long as you're, like, admitting that you were a horse's ass. And A, Jim is right. Steve is a horse's ass. Yeah. And B, Jim is right. Owning it when you're an ass is a really grown-up thing to do. Yes. Like, we've all done stupid shit. It's really important to own it when you do. Mm-hmm. And then it's possible to move forward. But if you continued to act like what you did wasn't horse's ass behavior, then you ain't getting anywhere. No. So good for Jim and good for Steve for trying to own it, even though, look, Steve should walk away right now, and so should Celeste. Like, and I hate that, but I've met Steve. So, anyway, what did you think I was going to say when I said ice cream?
Shannon's SNL episode. But that might be your nostalgia corner.
It's not. We should talk about Shannon's SNL episode before we get to Nostalgia Corner. We haven't given ourselves a ton of time, but I don't think it warrants a ton of time. Shannon hosted Saturday Night Live between last episode and this episode. Them airing, not them shooting. So she's our second cast member who gets to host Saturday Night Live. She hosted with Cypress Hill. I watched this episode at the time, but what's available on Peacock does not include the Cypress Hill performances. You didn't even know who Cypress Hill was. Nope. You'd never heard Insane in the Membrane?
No.
That is shocking to me because that song was so big. And granted, you were like 3, but it's continued to be on. Like, I could walk out and turn my Sirius XM radio on right now, and I would hear Insane in the Brain on one of the channels. I'm certain.
The rock I lived under was quite large.
Who you got trying to get crazy with, SA? Don't you know I'm loco? Cypress Hill's awesome.
I want to check them out now. They seem like cool dudes.
They were. I sent you the greatest Cypress Hill moment in the history of Cypress Hill, which is, as everyone knows, someone ordered the London Symphony Orchestra, possibly while high. Cypress Hill, I'm looking in your direction. It's one of the greatest Simpsons moments ever. And apparently, I'm pretty sure I saw this as a headline sometime in like the last year. Cypress Hill actually performed with the London Symphony Orchestra.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. God, do you guys know Insane in the Membrane? So
do classics.
What's that?
We tend to do classics.
Right. Classics like this. Did you ever watch Futurama?
No.
There's one joke from like the first or second episode when, because the whole thing is like the main character, Fry, he's from our time, but he ends up like frozen or something and being thawed out like 1,000 years in the future. And so he was all sad and depressed, and he was sitting in his apartment listening to Baby Got Back. Yes. And Leela comes in and says, Fry, you can sit here in your crappy apartment and listen to classical music all you want. And I was like, that's awesome, because that song's 1,000 years old.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. Anyway, Shannon hosted SNL, and it's not much of an episode.
She's really not in that much of it.
She's not, yeah, which is kind of weird, but
it felt like a publicity thing.
They all are. It's a way to promote you.
But it felt like an attempt at image correction.
Maybe, yeah, because they did do some bits about, like, wasn't her monologue about like how she's difficult or whatever? Her
monologue was video footage from her wedding, and she's beating up everyone.
Right. Yes, because she had just gotten married, and sadly, I've heard her say that marriage is part of why she left the show, because she was dealing with an addict as a husband, and it was a problem, and he was abusive, and it caused her to like be late to work, and like all of the, she was dealing with a lot of shit. And unfortunately, that wedding is captured in spirit in her monologue, the one time she gets to host Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
But I will say that it does contain one skit that I love, and it is the Real World skit, where everyone is just a stereotype and accuses everyone else of being racist. And to me, that's so funny, because that's kind of the dynamic on that show in those early years. Was you bring all these different people together, and then mostly they just yell at each other about the fact that they're racist or whatever. Like, there's always somebody who's either overtly or inadvertently racist, and someone else has to tell them about it. And that's what that show is about. But yeah, she's Pole White Trash from Oklahoma, and David Spade is from a different part of Oklahoma. But like everybody that gets introduced is like, I'm so and so, I'm from Oklahoma, and if there's one thing I can't stand, it's black people. And then there's like
Yeah.
And there's like the black Londoners who play guitar. And then it's like Tim Meadows. And he's like, I'm from London and I have a guitar. And there's one thing I can't stand. It's Eskimos. And it's like, so the whole thing is so over the top silly. But why I love it and why it's my nostalgic corner is shouts to Orla. Orla is a friend of mine from college. We went to IU together. I was an RA. She was she was like an RA's boss. So if I had had a Dan Rubin situation with her, we would have had to figure that power dynamic out. Didn't have to. But Orla's the best. And she is from Dublin. And when I met her, this episode was like 2 years old. So it's fresh in my head. So literally, I explained the stupidity of Mike Myers in this episode being from Dublin. And every time he talks to someone, he has to say that he's from Dublin. And like that's the reason he does things. And so every time I see her, I say, I'm from Dublin. And now when I wish her happy birthday on Facebook, it's all caps, I'm from Dublin. So nonstop, I'm from Dublin. And it's been 30 years. And
Wow. Amazing.
And I'm a delight.
You are.
Shouts to Orla. Love ya. What does this make you nostalgic for?
I say sadly like this is a bad thing, but I'm just judging myself. It made me nostalgic for the TA I had a crush on. I don't care. It was a great time crushing on this man with no pressure or hopes of anything transpiring. All I got with him were some fantastic conversations after pretty much every class. And yeah, totally had a moment too where I was like, you didn't give me an A on this? And like he had good notes, and I'm like, okay, fine. I'm going to take these notes because I want to impress him.
That's right. And then I won't embarrass him at dinner when he asks me out immediately after giving me this feedback.
Damn, if only. We did get coffee and breakfast one time, like way after college, like meeting up. But yeah, shout outs to that TA for, being a decent human being and,
You guys had breakfast?
Yeah.
Did he phone you or nudge you?
I texted him.
You've never seen Sneakers?
Nope.
Sneakers is a good movie.
Okay.
Yep. But, did he phone you for breakfast or nudge you? Hey, wake up, let's have some breakfast.
Oh
See?
Oh, that's... That took me way too long.
Yeah, I'm a little bit sad I had to explain that, but that's okay.
I am too, because...
You know what? Let's blame it on the lag.
Blame it on the lag. Blame it on I was revisiting college-age me, crushing on this guy, still a virgin, very much like Andrea. And so, yeah, I tapped into her naive brain and was like, phone or nudge? What do you mean? What are you saying about?
You didn't know. That's okay. All right. Who is your Steve Sanders Memorial worst person of the episode?
John Sears, come on down.
Big shock. Yeah.
Get fucked.
Uh-huh. Yeah, John Sears sucks.
You suck.
Just all the way.
You are a creep. And you know it.
Hmm?
You're not money, man.
No. He thinks he's much more money than he is. Obviously John Sears is the answer, but I'm also going to say Brenda.
Fair.
Like the definition of you had one job. Like you literally had one job. It was take this envelope and deliver it to this lady. You have 6 hours. And Brenda's like, maybe I'll pool party.
That's more time than Annie ever had for anything she had to do for Miranda Priestley on The Devil Wears Prada. Like, come on.
She was the bad guy, right?
Miranda Priestley? I mean, she's the antagonist. I don't want to say she's a bad guy. She's definitely an antagonist, though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I saw it once. So
it's fun.
That's because I don't watch movies about Satan.
Wow.
That's right. That's right. I am far too pure of heart to let that kind of evil in here.
What
That's
was
what
the craft then?
That wasn't Satan. That was so it was the same from the I don't remember what the name of the demon was. I don't remember.
I have no idea either.
It was somebody else. That was a different fella entirely. And
Wow.
he's all right with me. I don't know. All right, I think we did it. All right. So join us here on Friday, Cheesemeisters, when we're gonna watch The Fisher King. So that I haven't watched that movie in a long time, and I know you haven't seen it. So should be interesting to watch that one. And join us here next week, Cheesemeisters, when we watch season 4, episode 6, Strangers in the Night. Bye.